Welcome back to our podcast with the Jones family. Today we'll be discussing how God's used his protection over our life.
Yes. So some of the ways that God has showed us protection is what we're going to be talking about today. But first off, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling okay. How are you?
I'm great. Um, so God's protection is one of those things where God sees it before you see it, type of thing. And we used to have this thing a little while ago where we used to talk about see it before you see it.
Yeah.
And God is he sees all, before we can. So he has the power to stop you at a certain position before you reach a fall
Yeah.
or before you reach harm or something like that. And I guess today we can just share a couple of ways where God has protected us and showed himself to us through that protection as well. Um, I guess we can say some of these things was very early on with our journey with God as well. We just decided to come a little bit deeper to God at that moment, and he was revealing his protection and revealing his promises to us as well. Um, so what do you want to start with first? What testimony of ours do you want to start
I
with?
think we should start from the first time he actually protected us, which he always protects us, of course. But I think one of the biggest ones that we remember is Carmen.
Carmen? Okay.
Yeah.
So Carmen is, I just want to give a little insight real fast. Carmen was an apartment that we had in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It was a apartment complex, and the complex was just dangerous.
Very not good.
It was the Chicago of Milwaukee, I guess you can say. It was just, it wasn't the worst area in Milwaukee, but it was very, very just
One of the worst areas.
dangerous.
Like,
So when we mention Carmen, it means like this dangerous apartment building. Imagine apartment building where you just feel unsafe every day.
yeah.
And we didn't know that actually moving in because it actually looked very beautiful on the outside.
Very.
But when you actually got into the neighborhood and got settled in, you actually start to see this was a very dangerous place. And so, you want to tell the story or?
We could just go on and off with the story.
Okay, sounds good.
So, I just had our baby boy. I think he was, it was Castillo.
Newborn stages.
Newborn, yeah. So he was really little. So I say he's probably about a week or two, maybe.
Yeah.
Week or two. He was a midnight baby, so newborns they get up in the middle of the night for feeding and want to play. And
Not ready for that again.
There's gonna be another story. But he was ready to get up, and it was it's always been my turn to get up in the middle of the night with him. And so I got up and I went in the living room. I let him rest in, and I let the other baby rest in. So I didn't turn no lights on or anything until I got out and towards the living room, and I just grabbed everything. But I was feeding him, burping him, changing his diaper. He playing around, laughing and things like that. But that night, my husband actually came out the room. He usually kind of don't. He know that I'm out of the bed, but he usually don't kind of come out there a little bit because I don't be out there too long. But this specific night, he actually came out there that night, and I just figured, he just missed me, so I just figured that.
So a little insight on that. Usually, when she would get up with the baby at nighttime, and she would take the baby to another area of the house, and the specific area that night was the living room because the baby was up, he was hungry, he was a newborn at that time. I would usually stay in the bedroom with our other child at the time, and I would just lay in the bed and wait for them to get back because I didn't want to really wake up the newborn, by just doing whatever I'm doing, because usually she'll just rock him and feed him and he'll go right back to sleep. So I didn't really want to get up, but usually I don't really get up as much with the baby at nighttime. That's really her thing. But that night specifically, something urged me to get out the bed. And I know that the Spirit was talking to me that night because when she first got up, I didn't want her to get out the bed necessarily, but the baby was crying. So she took the baby into the living room, and I decided I need to get up for some odd reason. I just knew that I needed to get up, and it was just like a nagging urge, you need to get up. and joined them in the living room, and that's when you can start back your story.
So as he comes in the living room, I just figure, he wants to be out there with us as husband duties. But, we talking, we discussing about we was hearing from God that day, talk about the baby and things like that. Then we got this eerie feeling there. It was like something very uncomfortable, something just evil was in the presence of not our actual home, just around our home, I can say.
Yeah.
It wasn't in our physical apartment, but it was around our apartment. And I was just like, it feel weird tonight. Scary feeling tonight. It's like we was in a scary movie, something was gonna happen. And something did happen.
So what she's saying is, I got out the bed. When I got out the bed, I ended up going in there with them, and actually, I wanted to go downstairs because our mailbox was in our downstairs portion of our apartment.
Yeah.
It was kind of by the front door. So I was actually getting dressed to actually go downstairs to check the mail because I didn't get a chance to do it in the daytime. I don't know why, but I was like, oh, I didn't check the mail. I need to go downstairs. And as I kept trying to go downstairs, I just kept feeling this pull, stay upstairs. And I noticed that, like she was saying, it was a very eerie night. My discernment was out the roof that night. It was the Holy Spirit was really, was really telling me, like, you need to stay in here. like stay where you are at. And I didn't want to listen at first, but I'm glad that we just kind of we sat down and we actually was like, oh, tonight just don't feel good. It just don't feel right. It just feels like something evil. And she mentioned that it was feeling like a evil spirit or something inside of the home, inside of our building. I felt it everywhere around me. It was just like something was telling me go downstairs, but it was an even stronger sense that was saying stay where you are and don't go downstairs. And so as we talking, we actually said a quick prayer, like, Lord, if there's something in here, I ask you to protect us and ask you to carry this away from us, because we started to feel like there was something trying to attack us. And so we actually decided, let's sit down and just relax for now, and we'll deal with the mailbox in the morning. And next thing you know, we hear, like out of a scary movie, we hear the downstairs door, which is, connected to our apartment complex, and it was just creaking open, like this little eerie creaking sound. And it was just the scariest little creaking sound you can. We just stopped talking, like, what is that? And we didn't hear no noises other than that, but out of nowhere, like, remember I said that's the front door that was creaking open, and out of nowhere we just heard multiple gunshots. It was like, I don't know how many exactly, but it was just gunshots after gunshots after gunshots. So, and her first reaction was to get the baby and to get on the floor, and which is a smart thing to do because we was actually sitting right by a window. I think
we was finna actually go to the bedroom before they even happened. We was like, it's a little eerie night, so we just finna go back to the room and lay back down.
Yeah.
As we even walking towards the room, that's when it actually happened.
Yeah. So she decided to get on the floor, and my first reaction was to guard the door. And I did own a firearm at that time, so I grabbed my firearm and I decided to guard the door because we don't know what's going on in that building. That building was crazy. And it's just multiple gunshots ringing. And the craziest thing about that building is no one called the police. Nobody. So we was like, no, this can't keep happening because
we called the
that
police.
Wasn't the first time, by the way, that we shot up the building. So we decided to call the police and things like that. So the police called me back, and I told her, because even while I was on the phone, the police they were still shooting. It was like a whole shootout type of moment, and it was just shooting up the whole building. Downstairs area where the mailbox was at. So if I would have went down there, I would have not probably been here today.
Exactly.
But the shooting ended up happening on the phone when I was on the phone with the police, so they kind of rushed, but they never ended up catching the guy at that time because he just zoomed off. But I had to go downstairs to open the door for the police first off because the door was locked. So as I opened the door for the police, I just seen by the mailbox area where it was just gunshot wound, like gunshots everywhere, like bullet holes all over the thing. It was shell casings on the floor, and I knew if I would have went down there that night that I probably would have been shot myself, or she would have been shot, or anything like that. So we came back upstairs and we just gave praise to God for actually protecting us from that situation.
Yeah.
And
It was a scary moment.
we prayed and prayed and prayed like, God, move us out of this house.
Please.
We cannot stay here another day.
Your girl was in the closet. I don't like fear. I'm just not a person that likes to be in danger.
Yeah. But she decided, I want to take the kids and just get on. I told her to actually get on the floor, get on the closet until this is all said and done, until the police at least arrives. But police can sometimes take 20 minutes in that city because there's so much going on. It's not their fault. It's just so much going on there. But we ended up having to get on the floor, and we waited till the cops got there. And you know, I didn't want to go downstairs and address the issue like, oh, what's going on? No, I'm not that stupid. But I noticed the next day that I was actually about to go down those stairs, and you know, God definitely protected us at that moment. And
voice that's in your head telling you not to do it.
Yeah, he definitely spoke to me. And also, if she would have been out there by herself,
I would have been more scared
with the child. She would have been way more in fear of all those gunshots ringing, like right next to like our door. Like, we could hear like
the apartment that the person was trying to get to was actually under us.
Yeah, so
and we was on top of it.
That's another story as well. One day I'm sitting in the bathroom. I think I was getting ready to take a shower, and I just started hearing gunshots from below me because we was upstairs and the apartment was downstairs, and they just shooting and all this. So it was mostly the apartment that was downstairs from us. She had some issues or whatever. We prayed for her, but yeah, God definitely protected us throughout that whole stay there. We stayed there for 1 year. Nothing ever happened to us. But there's so many times where we was like taking out the trash, and I noticed that she had this story. She was taking out the trash, and they actually just start shooting.
I had to run down.
And she had to run inside the house. So after all that was said and done, God told us, like, you know, I'm going to move you. And we were so happy.
Yeah.
You know, and he was like, well, we're going to move you far away from there. And we actually moved to Dallas, Texas, where we haven't seen none of that yet.
None of it.
A lot of people say Texas is bad, but we have been in some of the worst neighborhoods, and it was nothing compared to
where we came from.
Yeah. So that is just one of our stories on how God actually protected us. We ask you guys to just leave a comment under the video. Just let us know in a couple of ways where God have actually protected you, or, you know, if you ever been in this type of dangerous situation and you made it out of it. Just let us know in the comments. Make sure you like leave a like on the video so more people can see it and things like that, and share it if you can. We'll be back again in probably a day or two with another video for you guys, but thank you.